Hello students. So students, in the previous class in this chapter, that is metals and non-metals, we have started and we have tried to understand that of the chemical properties of the metals and the non-metals. Now let us see that what we have understood. So we have seen that if you look at the chemical properties of the metals and non-metals, so we have seen that metals, they generally react with the oxygen to form the metal oxide. And this metal oxide is generally basic in nature because when it reacts with that of the water, it will form a base. While if we discuss about that of the non-metals, so non-metals also react with the oxygen and they form the oxide that is acidic in nature. Okay, then we have started and tried to understand that what kind of a reaction will a metal show if it will going to react with the water. So the reaction, the type of a reaction shown by the metal, it will be, you say that when it depends upon the type of a metal also. Now, if we talk about the sodium, so sodium is very reactive, so it will going to react with the water vigorously and forms the, it will react with the with that of the water vigorously and form this sodium hydroxide and hydrogen gas is released. While if we talk about the zinc or the other metals, then you will find like magnesium. So you will find that they are not very reactive, but they react with that of the hot water or the steam to form their respective hydroxide. While there are some of the metals, they do not react with the water at all. Like that of a copper is there, so it will not going to react with the water at all. So sodium react even with the cold water, but the metals are there which are less reactive. They need hot water or steam to form their respective hydroxide. If we talk about the zinc, zinc will form the oxide. So generally the result of this oxide, this metal reaction with that of the water will form oxide or that of the hydroxide, but always there is a release of a hydrogen gas. Then we have seen that how the metal used to react with the acids. So you see that when the metals react with the acid, they used to displace the hydrogen from the acid. Okay, and finally hydrogen gases also evolve with it. Okay, so it displaces the H from that of the acid and forms the respective salt and hydrogen gas is released. So we have seen that if suppose sodium is there and sodium is reacting with that of a hydrochloric acid, then there is a formation of a sodium chloride because sodium displaces the hydrogen from the hydrochloric acid and it will form NaCl. And hydrogen gas is evolved here. Now, not only this student, there are other metal like that of a copper is there. So, copper react or magnesium is there. So, magnesium react with that of the with the sulfuric acid to form that of the magnesium sulfate. Okay, so these are the reactions shown by that of the metals with the acid. What about the bases? So, what about the non-metals? Sorry. So, non-metals, they do not react with the acids. Now, let us move on and try to understand the reaction with that of the bases. Means how the metals, they used to react with the bases and the non-metal react with the bases. We will write here. That is reaction with the bases. Reaction with the base. So if we talk about the reaction with bases, if we see the metals, so metals, they do not show the reaction with that of the bases at room temperature, but there are certain metals that if you provide a heat to it, then they will going to react with the bases. Like zinc is there. So we can write it that most metals do not react with the most metal, it do not react with the bases at room temperature. Okay, it do not react with the bases at room temperature, but certain metals are there like zinc is there and aluminium is there, like zinc and aluminium react with the strong base. They react with the strong bases on heating. And produce compound of the metal and produce compound of that metal and hydrogen gas is released and hydrogen gas. Okay, so we can say that the metals generally here it react with that of the it do not react with that of the bases, but there are metals which used to react with the strong bases when you provide heat to it, and due to this reaction they produces their respective metal and hydrogen gas is released. What about the non-metals? Does the non-metal react with the bases, students? So, non-metals react or do not react, although it is not given in your chapter. So, we will study about this in the higher classes, that whether the non-metal will show the reaction with the bases. If yes, then what kind of a reaction with the bases they will show. Okay, so this was all about that the reaction shown by the different kind of metals and non-metal with the oxygen, with water, with acid, as well as the bases. Okay, so we have seen the chemical properties, means how we are able to differentiate the metals and the non-metals from each other on the basis of the reaction shown by them with the oxygen or with that of the water and even with the acid. I had discussed here with the bases also, but the bases is not there in our book, so we will not going to consider them. Although we are knowing now that metals they do not react with the bases until and unless there are metals which used to react with the strong bases only when you provide a strong when you provide a heat to it. If you are giving a certain temperature, only then they will going to react with the bases. Next one is the reactivity series of the metal. Reactivity series of metals. Reactivity series of metals. Now you see, students, what is this reactivity series of a metal? So basically all the metals are not equally reactive. We have seen also, we have understood with this all chemical reaction, the sodium is what? It reacts vigorously with the oxygen, react with that of the water, can easily react with the acid. Okay, so we have seen here that okay, sodium is there like that, and if we see the other one like zinc is there or copper is there, so we have to supply heat to it, we have to give temperature to it so that it will going to react with that particular oxygen or the acid or basis, whatever it is. Okay, so here you see that one can easily react with anything and the other it need temperature, it need energy to react. So this says that all the metals are not equally reactive. There are metals which are more reactive than the other one. It means there are metals which are more reactive, there are metals which are less reactive. And how can you say that this metal is reactive, this metal is not reactive? And to understand this, we have made a list of the different metals on the list we have made is with the decreasing order of the reactivity of the metals, and then with the list itself we have understood that okay, this is what more reactive, this is less reactive, and this is the least reactive, or this is the most reactive. So we have understood the reactivity of the different metal with the help of the reactivity series of the metals. It means the reactivity series of the metal will help us to tell that which metal is more reactive than the other. I'll tell you that what is the use of this, why we are saying that it will be more reactive or less reactive. Okay, so first thing that you have understood that if it is more reactive, it will going to react with anything very easily, like we have seen in case of a sodium. Let me write it, that what is the use of a reactivity series. So the first point that we are going to write here, that all metals are not equally reactive. All the metals are not equally reactive. Okay, they are not equally reactive. So we can say that some of them are more reactive, some of them are more reactive, and reacts quickly with others. Okay, it reacts quickly with the other. Now, the important one is that an arrangement of the metals in the form of a list, in the form of a list in order of their decreasing reactivity, in order of their decreasing reactivity, is called the reactivity series of metals. You see students, it is very important, that is, what is the reactivity series of a metal? It is the arrangement of the different metals. That how they are arranged. They are arranged in the form of a list, and the list which is there in the reactivity series, it is arranged in the decreasing order of the decreasing order of the reactivity of the metal. Means on the decreasing reactivity, it means the higher one will be the more reactive, and as it goes to the lower, the reactivity of the metal keeps on decreasing. It means at higher we will keep the more reactive, at lower we will keep the less reactive. So it is in the order of a decreasing reactive. It is a very important, because most of the time this question is asked that what do you understand by the reactivity series of metal? And this is not only important to the point of view of class 8, but even in the higher classes also, reactivity series always ask that what do you understand by this and what is a reactivity series. So let me draw you the reactivity series so that you can understand that which one will be more reactive or the less reactive. So I hope you have understood the definition here, that it is an arrangement of the metals which is in the form of a list, and it is arranged in the decreasing reactivity. Okay, now let us see. That is, first one is elements, then the second he will write here is symbol. Okay, you see students, element and symbol. So first one is here potassium. This is the first one. Then the second one is potassium, symbol of the potassium is K. Then the second one is sodium. Okay, and the symbol of the sodium is Na. Then next one is the calcium, third one, calcium, symbol is Ca. Then next one is magnesium, symbol is Mg. Next one is aluminium, symbol is Al. Next is zinc, symbol is Zn. I am writing the zinc from here. This is considered to be the most reactive. Then I am continue it from here itself, students. So and one more thing is there, that reactivity decreases from this to aluminium. Okay, so potassium is the most reactive, then sodium is there, then calcium is there, then magnesium is there, then aluminium is there. Okay, now we will going to rub it and see the next list after the aluminium. After aluminium, zinc is there. Zinc, Zn. Then iron, iron, Fe. Then tin, tin is there, which is Sn. Then lead is there, which is Pb. Then hydrogen is there, which is represented by H. Next is copper, represented by Cu. Then mercury, represented by Hg. Okay. Then after mercury, elemental symbol, I am writing it here again. That is, after mercury, it will be silver, which is represented by Ag. Then gold, which is represented by Au. Then platinum, represented by Pt. So you can see the decreasing order is like this from here to here. Okay, so you have seen here that the most reactive was the potassium and then sodium. Okay, so if suppose you can see here, student, iron is there and copper is there. So when it is what, it is going from the decreasing order. This is in the decreasing order of their reactivity. So if you look at the iron and that of the copper, what you will find here, that iron is what? It is more reactive than that of the copper, right? And the copper is less reactive. Likewise, if you see the zinc, so zinc is more reactive than that of the iron. It means iron is less reactive. Okay, so we can say that being more reactive, it is able to displace the zinc. Why I am writing this, students, this reactivity series, so that make you understand that In this list, with the help of the list, you are able to say that whether which one is more reactive than the other. And we are looking for this because the next will be the displacement reaction that we have to study. And in the displacement reaction, it is very important to know that which is the more reactive than the other, because there the most reactive element, the more reactive element displaces the less reactive. So if iron is less reactive, zinc is more reactive, so more reactive will displaces that of the iron. So it is important to write it at in your copy at a place, and then whenever you will do the reaction, you will come to know that which one is more reactive, which one will going to displace the other. There is another thing, student. Here we have seen that it is a reactivity series of the metal. But remember that hydrogen, it is considered to be a non-metal. Okay, so if it is a non-metal, so why it is kept in the reactivity series of the metal? Because still now, normally we say that it is a non-metal, but till now it is not proved that it is totally non-metal or a metal. So it shows the properties of both, and that is why we used to keep it into this reactivity series also. Okay, so it resembles, most of these chemical properties also resembles to that of the metals. So we can say that it is kept in this reactivity series of the metals here. Now let us move on and see the next reaction, and that is displacement reaction. On the basis of that, we can say that how can we use this reactivity series of the metal. Displacement reaction. Displacement reaction. So this is a type of a reaction in which I told you that the more reactive metal displaces the less reactive metal. So let us write the definition of this, that this is it is a type of reaction in which more reactive metal displaces the less reactive metal here. Displaces the less reactive metal. Okay, so it is a type of a reaction in which the more reactive displaces the less reactive metal. Example, student, if suppose we have taken an example here, that is magnesium. When this magnesium will react with the copper oxide, that is CuO, then there is a formation of a magnesium oxide, that is MgO plus Cu. Let me tell you, this is what? This is a magnesium. This is copper oxide. This is magnesium oxide. And finally, Cu, copper. Now you see here, students, in the reactivity series, we have seen that magnesium was more reactive than that of the copper. When you look at the reactivity series, you will find that the magnesium is at the top and copper is below. So this proves that magnesium is more reactive than that of the copper, and hence this magnesium will displace the copper, being more reactive, displacing the less reactive, and form the magnesium oxide. So I hope you have understood what is the meaning of a displacement here. So it has displaced its position, and at its position it came. So magnesium displaces the copper and finally forms the magnesium oxide. Copper will remain as such. Okay, so by this we can say that being more reactive, this magnesium displaces the copper from the copper oxide and finally form the magnesium oxide. Okay, so we can say that what is the importance of now this reactivity series. So this reactivity series make us capable to determine that which one is more reactive. Okay. So the reactivity series is helpful in determining which metal is capable of displacing other metal. Okay, so reactivity series is helpful in determining that which metal it is capable of displacing the other. Because of the reactivity series only we are able to say that okay, this is more reactive, so it will going to displace the next one easily. Okay. So by this we can say that if suppose a metal is there which is kept higher in the reactivity series, it is able to displace the metals which is kept just below or which is kept below to that of the metal in the reactivity series. Okay, since the magnesium is kept below, copper is kept below to that of the magnesium, that is why the magnesium is able to displace not only to the copper but all the metals which is kept below to the magnesium in the reactivity series. So, reactivity series, it is helpful in determining that which is more reactive, which will going to react easily, and which is more reactive and which is able to displace the other less reactive metal here. Now let us see some of the examples like Zn is there. Zn is what? Zinc. So when this zinc will react with that of the copper sulfate. This is what? This is zinc. This is copper sulfate. So in the reactivity series, students, you will find that zinc is what? It is at the upper. You have seen that zinc, and after that Fe is there, and then finally you will find the copper is also there. So you can find that zinc is even reactive than that of the iron and the copper. Okay, so being more reactive, you can understand that here in both the cases, out of these two metals, zinc is more reactive than that of the copper. So zinc will displace this copper, and in place of this copper sulfate, it will form the zinc sulfate here, and copper will come out. This is what? Zinc sulfate, and the copper is here. Okay, so we can say that being more reactive, it is less reactive. So it displaces the copper and forms the zinc sulfate here. What about if a compound is, if you will take a metal which is less reactive, and if we take a compound which is more reactive, like if suppose we have taken Ag plus CuSO4. Now you see this student, this is what? It is silver. And this is what? Copper sulfate. So, silver, you have seen in case of the silver that silver was where? It was kept at the last third. It means silver, then gold is there, and finally platinum is there. So, we will consider them a least reactive. Okay, so it is the least reactive, and if you compare with that of the copper, you will find that copper is more reactive. Okay, so that if you see here, students, then you will find that silver is less reactive, while copper is more reactive. So, is it possible for this silver being less reactive to displace the copper from the copper sulfate which is more reactive? No. It is the property of only of the reactive metal that they are able to displace the less reactive. The less reactive will be not able to displace the more reactive metal. So the reaction between them will be nothing. So we will write here that no reaction will take place. Okay, so when these two they react with each other, no reaction can take place between these two. Okay, so by this we have understood that only the more reactive will displace the less reactive will not going to displace the more reactive. So this is the use of that of the reactivity phase of the metal. We will discuss about this in the next class.